Previously on the Cool Boys podcast. Fuck my ass.
All right, so next week, Cool Boy Nation, we are going to be releasing episode 1. Yes, if you've been paying attention at all, you've noticed that our very first episode was technically actually episode 2. So next week, you're going to hear what the Cool Boys sounded like when we did our first real test episode.
Dude, I've been listening this whole time, and I didn't even know this was a thing.
I've said it multiple times.
I remember
it. Podcast, as well as during previous.
I remember it.
Okay.
I don't know if I agreed to this. What is this episode?
We're gonna find out. It's the episode we recorded as our first episode.
Yeah, no, Ballard talked about this a lot in like the first 10 episodes, that it was this master plan that our first episode would be the second one recorded, and it would be number 2, because eventually we would have one after 100.
We laughed.
One. And we all laughed at him, thinking like, yeah, we're not making it to 100 episodes. We're all going to give up on this after a few weeks. This is silly to have this plan that won't come into effect for 100 episodes. And now here we are at episode 100, about to enact that plan. Ballard, I bet that's kind of what Kevin Feige felt when everyone's like, why are you talking about what you're going to do in Avengers Infinity War Part 2 around like 2009, when he's like, nah, man, in 2018, we'll have Avengers Infinity War. And they're all like, dude, no one's even going to see the first Avengers. 5 superheroes in one movie? That's stupid. But he was right.
Thank you, Felk. That's the nicest thing you've ever said, is comparing me to Kevin Feige.
Well, he had a vision, and it worked out. And probably some people didn't believe in him.
I love men.
Get ready for fucking amateur boys next week, boys.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a very awkward listen. With terrible mics.
And if we get to episode 200, maybe we'll finally release episode 0, the first test episode.
Live from Cool Boys Central.
You can be the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
Hold your dicks and rub your tits.
You'll be ice cold.
Here come the Cool Boys.
Just a young boy.
So cool.
So cool. So cool.
I see cool boys.
Hi, and welcome
Hey.
to the Cool
So
Boys
cool.
podcast.
Are we gonna give ourselves like cool names like Striker and Lightning? Or are we going by
Well,
our regular
we
names?
discussed that, the fact that neither of you call me Matt and neither of us call him Mike, but we both call you Nolan.
Okay, yeah, you can call me whatever, but I think you're definitely Felk and you're definitely
Striker.
Ballard.
Well,
Moving
hey,
on.
this is Cool Boys podcast, test episode 2, the night shift. A
Ooh.
fabulous job. All right. Well, I'm
And
Mike.
an accurate title, because we were together in the daytime.
That was Felk and Nolan. Say something.
Hi.
Hey, buddy. All right. So if you want to reach out to us on Twitter at Cool Boys Podcast, or reach out to us on email at thecoolboyspodcast@gmail.com. I guess just to make it clear off the bat here, I'm up in the San Francisco Bay Area, and Nolan and Felk are down in the LA area. All right. So let's move on. Let's do some fabulous news from the week.
Hit me with it.
Interrupt to bring this to you.
Fabulous news.
You probably read about it in the paper. However, I'll give you the real facts.
So cool.
There's a lot of MCU news and DCU news and some movie news, but some other random stuff I want to talk about. So let's just move on right now to just DCEU right now. So
Yeah.
essentially, yeah. So, I mean, like, that's kind of a crazy situation they got, because, I mean, earlier in the week, they started off the whole week with this idea that, like, they wanted to rush some film into production, which is obviously is always a good sign. And then it's interesting that J.K. Simmons and Joe Manganiello, both in different interviews, ended up essentially, when being questioned about the Batman and their status in the movie, they both didn't even know what their status was.
Yeah, can I pause on that for a second?
Sure.
Okay. So I know you guys are huge fans. I'm not a huge fan of the DC universe. Are you actually excited for the Aquaman movie?
No, not at all. In fact, I think that will be officially the end of the DC universe.
Who likes Aquaman?
I don't think anybody really is like clamoring for this. Which
And
is
so
kind
they
of
want
sad.
I
They
will
wanna do
see
that.
it because I feel obligated to, if they actually make it.
Yeah, I
And
probably do the
so-
same.
Green Lantern as well. Well, obviously, like that didn't work out last time, and they still have Ryan Reynolds as like one of the front runners to reprise the role.
That's crazy, right?
But
because he did it with Deadpool.
Different...
That's the catch. Is that because
that is the catch?
Yeah, because they saw like maybe Ryan Reynolds wasn't the problem with Deadpool. Obviously, he wasn't the problem with Green Lantern. The catch is that there's only one Deadpool and there's like 3 Green Lanterns, and they could just do They could do John Stewart.
Mark Campbell was the issue with Green Lantern, I think, honestly.
No. The problem with Green Lantern is Green Lantern fucking sucks. Yeah. That's the problem.
No, because Green Lantern's power looks good in a still image. Him with the ring out, forming an anvil or a car or something stupid. Terrible. It kind of works in a still image, but you animate it and it looks really dumb.
Having said all that, I will still see Justice League because I'm always interested in Batman.
You still haven't seen the good cut of Batman v Superman, have you?
So speaking of that,
I won't watch it either.
Well, speaking of the Batman, so J.K. Simmons is like Commissioner Gordon, and he doesn't even know if he's in the movie anymore. And Joe Manganiello, who is going to be
Deathstroke.
Yeah, I mean, like he doesn't even know if he's in the movie anymore. That's like, I'm really worried that like Batman's never going to happen. And I was really excited because Matt Reeves is a great director, I feel like, and I also feel like
serviceable.
I feel like I like him. I really like Let Me In. I think that was a great movie. And Cloverfield, I think, was a pretty stupid idea that he did a pretty good job with.
I thought Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is that's his best movie. Let Me In isn't that just scene for scene, shot for shot? Like the Psycho? No. Let Me In. Isn't that just like a shot for shot remake of Let the Right One In? I've never watched it because I don't watch foreign movies.
It's his own interpretation. I'm not familiar with it. It's his own interpretation of the novel, and it's great, and it has some cinematography and some choices that are really dark and incredibly violent. And there's a car crash long take when you're in the back seat of the car and the cameras are locked down, and the car just being driven by Richard Jenkins, I think is the actor's name. It's just incredible. I highly recommend Let Me In. Highly recommend it. Anyways, but I mean, that's just kind of crazy, the idea, I think, that was the best opportunity we had to get a good DC movie, even with Matt Reeves. And I really like Ben Affleck as Batman, even though I don't care for the fact he killed so many people in BVS.
Yeah, I don't care about him killing people. I thought that was fine. He wasn't the problem either. He was okay. He was
just using stun explosions to blow up those cars. Those were stun bombs.
Stun bombs. The only reason I don't like that the Ben Affleck Bruce Wayne does it and Batman does it is that because that's part of the larger sandbox. And I feel that because it's part of that sandbox, you kind of have to play more with the character in line with the comic book version of them, more so than the director's interpretation, which I'm fine with Nolan's interpretation being violent, or even Burton's interpretation being violent. Yeah. But I feel like Snyder's
would smile after he killed guys.
He totally did. He blew that dude up and pushed him into the sewer.
Needlessly. He set a guy on fire with the Batmobile. He was driving away from.
And I'm totally fine with that. It's when you're sandbox playing, you have to play nice, because otherwise your characters are going to be all mismatched and their tone's going to be off from movie to movie. But anyway, so that being said, Justice League. Have you guys watched, honestly, those teasers, those stupid fucking little,
every one of them.
Me too. But oh my God, I hate watching those every time I watch them.
I have not watched anything.
Thank God. 5 trailers, possibly 6 if they do one for Superman, for a trailer.
I've been checking it back to kind of see.
Will this be the official first trailer that shows?
Yes, you're right. You are absolutely right. This is the official first teaser, even. Actually, I think it's being called.
Because the other one was just a Comic-Con first look that was only like a month into shooting. So they had to pull from like 2 scenes they shot.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
You know what I will say? I think Wonder Woman actually looks really good.
But yeah, Gal Gadot looks great, and I hope that movie's good.
Yeah, she's actually surprised me. She's actually been okay. I thought she'd be horrible, but.
All right, well, I guess just moving on. Anthony Mackie, I was just saw this article.
Who's that?
That's Falcon. Falcon in the Marvel.
From Die Hard 2?
No, Mr. Falcon.
There is no character named Mr. Falcon in Die Hard 2.
There is no character.
That's why that's the best scene in the movie, because his code name for the fucking flight control was Falcon, and all of a sudden he's Mr. Falcon at the end, and they never called him that the whole movie.
Sam Wilson is the Falcon.
Sam Wilson, yeah. So anyways, Anthony Mackie, yeah. I just love it. Every time I read about him and doing any kind of Marvel interview, he is like such a Marvel shill. Like talks up Marvel. Everything about Marvel is so great. But he actually had a whole thing about why they aren't going to be doing the Marvel crossover with the MCU and the other shows, like the Netflix shows, something that Phil and I touched upon in the last podcast. And he was pretty much saying it's just clear that it's different universes, it's different worlds, different companies, different designs. Kevin Feige is very specific about how he wants the Marvel universe to be seen in the film world. It wouldn't work at all. So, I mean, that's just definitively right there. I mean, we're never going to see ever any of these Netflix characters and any effort and put into a Netflix essentially is just going to be its own gain if you're going to watch it as a fan, or you can just completely block it out and it'll never affect you in the MCU at all, which is kind of sad, isn't it?
I think it's fantastic because they all suck.
I was really kind of hoping to see something in Civil War, to be honest. I really wanted to see some kind of Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones thing in there.
For everyone listening at home, all three of us, I've never seen anything outside of Daredevil's first 2 episodes, and I just can't get on board with it. I just don't think it's good.
I haven't had a chance to even start watching Iron Fist yet, just considering that all the bad reviews.
I gave up on the 10th episode.
Dread. You're 10 episodes in?
Yeah, I'm 10 episodes into Iron Fist, and I don't know if I can finish those.
How many are there?
13 for each season, for each show.
Oh, God. Oh.
I know. Isn't it funny to think that we used to watch shows that were 22 episode seasons, and we're just like now
24.
13 episodes. 24 even, yeah. And like now we're like, or even in old TV shows like Batman and X-Men, I mean, their first seasons were like 60 episodes.
Yeah, I was very confused when I saw that the first season of Power Rangers was 160 episodes. And I was just like, how the fuck is that a TV show?
Yeah, well, dude,
really?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy. Well, anyways, moving on, I guess. So yeah, I was fucking so excited this week when I saw anything with Tom Cruise news.
So cool.
So cool. Tom Cruise.
Cool.
So cool. So his stunt in this next MI, I think it's officially called Mission Impossible 6 Rogue Nowhere. And and I think it said something like it's like the deadliest stunt yet.
What could it be?
So I watched the video online of the Screen Junkies video and compared that with an old interview with Christopher McQuarrie. They asked about what the stunt's going to be that's better than inside the plane. He goes, I don't know. And I had to find out by April 10th. I may found something today. I came to Tom with a picture of something, and Tom looked at it and said, that's awesome. I want to fall off of that. It's like, okay, I can see it on a poster, and I can see Tom falling off of it. So the poster line is in direct reference to the last few Mission Impossible films. They do their teaser poster is essentially the big stunt, right? It was him hanging off the tall building, the Verge. It's him hanging off the side of the plane.
He's gonna fall from something.
He's jumping from something. Now, this is where the speculation comes in. There was a Twitter conversation between McQuarrie and Henry Cavill, who's going to be playing the villain apparently in the film. It was talking to Christopher McQuarrie, and essentially was saying like, he broke it down to like, any practical stunts, and Christopher McQuarrie was like, absolutely, and he mentions flying in a list of stunts that he's potentially going to be doing. Henry Cavill. And Henry Cavill's like, if as long as I get to fly like Superman, and I'm down. And Christopher McQuarrie says, I did say practical stunts, didn't I? Something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. So Screen Junkies did a video where they hypothesized that they think Tom Cruise is finally going to do like something like a wingsuit and do a legitimate practical wingsuit stunt, and Henry Cavill will be involved in it. And I think that's what they refer to maybe even as deadliest. And I think that's what they speculated as well. Is because
come on, Tom. People actually die doing that. Like, let's not do that.
Well, he intends to die at some point doing a stunt. Like, that's what else could he? Because he just die of old age. That wouldn't be Tom Cruise. He has to do this making a movie.
But it is crazy to think that Tom Cruise would tackle that, and Henry Cavill too. Like, what the fuck, Henry? Don't go following Tom on these death stunts and shit like that. Like, he's gonna kill you and take down your Superman career. You're not gonna have that Matthew Vaughn option later on.
Yeah, he's used to flying in an air-conditioned studio that has a big green screen setup.
Yeah, a lot different. But hang on. So I don't want to just go off what necessarily Screen Junkie said. What do you guys think it could be? What could be like this jump off something? Are we thinking like this is GoldenEye? There's no way he's going to do GoldenEye, right? GoldenEye.
That would be fucking amazing, actually.
But
riding a motorcycle like off.
I thought you were talking about the bungee jump at the beginning of GoldenEye. That wasn't actually as dangerous of stunt. The most dangerous stunt in the movie was the bungee jump because it was a world record.
Yeah, the bungee jump was.
But the bungee jump was just real. Like a guy set the record. A guy who looked enough like Pierce Brosnan to do it.
So cool.
I don't know what he could fall off of. It's crazy though. I just don't want my Tommy to die.
The craziest Tom Cruise stunt for a Mission Impossible movie to me is still the knife to the eye in Mission Impossible 2. It's not big. It's not like a whole big set piece or anything. It was just the fact that it was.
You're saying this with the opening going, "Hey mama, did my nana set your pants on fire?"
That was a cool big stunt too. He was actually really was climbing.
Across the cliff.
But the fact that most people would have insisted on like CGing that or whatever, he just said, "Stop a real knife just short of my eye," with no safety precautions of any kind.
No, there were safety precautions. It was on like a rig that like made sure no matter how much pressure you applied to it, it would not go further than that one point.
I choose not to believe that. I choose to believe he risked his eye.
I think the motorcycle sequences, even in MI2, are probably more death-defying than the knife sequence.
Yeah, even the jumping on the rocks in the beginning of that movie is pretty that looked pretty legit. I'm sure he had a harness on. I go. Mountain climbing rock climbing to that song is pretty dangerous as well.
That was the experience that made John Woo go back to Hong Kong.
Actually, that was Paycheck.
Well, yeah, Paycheck. This failure was a big part of it, but I think he had a pretty miserable time making.
Paycheck reference in 2 episodes. I want Paycheck to show up now, and every episode we reference Paycheck somehow.
Have either of you actually seen Paycheck?
I saw Paycheck in theaters.
Wow, good for you. I saw X vs. Ever in theaters, and I don't remember a single scene from it.
And so, talking about stunts and death-defying shit, I guess SpaceX is going to be sending 2 people around the moon, and these are 2 people that have paid them to send them. Do we know who they are? Who do you think it is?
Celebrities.
Tom Cruise.
Justin Timberlake.
It's Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie, and they're doing the shot for Mission Impossible 6.
Oh my God. Wait, okay. I honestly think it could be Spielberg and Hanks.
Oh, it could be.
Or Ron Howard and Hanks, right? Because think about it. Ron Howard did Apollo 13. How incredible would it be if Ron Howard and Mr. Timothy Hanks went and did essentially Apollo 13, just wrap that moon and head back home?
Are they going to carry Kevin Bacon and Bill Paxton with them?
Bill Paxton's dead body?
Oh, man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so moving on.
Wait, do you know who are they? Or do you not know? And that was.
No, nobody knows. Nobody knows. All right. Well, so I guess here we go. Our next topic, Game 2, Winter.
I want to talk to you.
It's time for our fabulous discussion session.
Let's go, Jack. I'm red hot.
Game 2, Winter.
Those crazy kids?
Hiya! You're crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so here's what this means. This is what Game 2 Winter is essentially, right? I'm going to just go over it real quick. So it's a Russian reality show that's going to start in July. Right now what's going on is up until July, they're picking contestants. These people will start in July, have to prep for summer.
I just want to read one part here right now in terms of the rules. Everything is allowed. Fighting, alcohol, murder, rape, smoking, anything.
That's right.
All of those are not equivalent.
Smoking.
Smoking's allowed. Yeah.
And this is Russia, so being gay is also going to be essentially against the law up there. So anyway, so you can do anything. The idea is that you have the summer to build your situation out to survive winter, which is going to be crazy. And then you have all winter, and then April 1st of 2018 is the final day of the show. And the winner of the show is anybody who survives. So if you win, you get $1.7 million American for anyone who survives. Now, if you do break the law on the show, you will be arrested by Russian authorities. They will arrest you. They just can't stop it from happening because no one will be there. Well, some of the other stuff that they have is that they say specifically they will not intervene with relations between participants nor monitor their sexual life either. And our cameras will not be able to follow every move in every corner of the island. And they are free to form any couple or union, and there's no limits or rules regarding sex. If a woman falls pregnant and manages to carry the baby, that's fine with us. We will show the baby after the project is over.
What else will they do?
Shit.
Fucking terminated against her will? Jesus. Russia?
Yeah. But I mean, like, seriously, though, like, can you imagine being dumb enough to have a kid in this scenario? That'd be terrible.
Well, people are dumb.
One of the scary things, too, about this that I think is the most frightening thing is not necessarily people committing crimes, which I don't think necessarily will happen.
Well, that takes a lot of the fun out of it.
It does. But I think what's really going to happen is that so there's been all these major wildfires up in northern and eastern Russia, and they forced the bear population and the wolf population directly in to where they're filming this show. So now more than ever, there's a larger population of hungry violent, agitated bears and wolves. And so these people have to essentially survive up against like the Gray on a regular basis or the Edge on a regular basis.
Love that.
Oh, and here's the thing: they have no guns. There's no guns of any sort. It's knives. It's their only weapon. So they're gonna have to fend off these brown bears with knives, and the brown bear numbers literally have doubled. So they are up against an incredible feat already right there alone.
And what channel is this going to be on?
This is going to be airing on the internet. I don't think the show is going to be like a type of show where it's going to be entertaining to honestly watch it. I think this is a show that's going to be more entertaining to hear about it and then go hunt down those clips. I think is probably more likely what is going to happen for this type of show, considering if it's going to be recording 24/7 from July.
It's not Survivor. It's not an edited TV show.
No, I think this will be essentially what this will be is a live stream, and you'll have either a line cut presented to you, or you probably maybe even control the line cut is my guess.
Okay, so the Hunger Games, that's what they're doing.
It is, and in fact, on to that point of Hunger Games, one of the options that exists for these contestants is that they can get care packages sent to them from sponsors, people just like in Hunger Games. So I think it'll be an interesting show for us to cover. And the photo they have up on the website of the billionaire is incredible. The dude looks like he's in a suit that's like 5 sizes too large for him.
Yeah, all Russian billionaires look like they make $30K a year in America. They
yeah.
Don't like packs of stray dogs control many of their major cities. Like for Russia, it's not that crazy.
Funny enough about the dogs, they actually do have a situation with the dogs where the dogs are so
they take subways. Like they know the subway system, and
they're so in tune with the cities that essentially they commute all day long. They live out in the country and they take the subways into the actual cities to get food all day long and eat, and then they take their subway back to the country and then pass out in the like wilderness somewhere.
Are you kidding me? I did not know about this.
That's true. And and in some places in Russia they have cafes set up for dogs at night. So dogs come into the cafe and they're allowed to sleep under the table or on the benches so that they don't have to necessarily take the train in and out.
Wow.
Oh, because the dogs are hanging out on the streets. Bang. That's it. Bam. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, puppy.
I believe I think they're in Russian. It's like the literal translation is like dog mafia.
Wow. Really? So show specific topic. Here we go.
Report preliminary findings.
Not worried about her. We gotta keep him gagged.
Cool Boy Nation, pop your cocks and drop your tops.
It might be interesting and important for you to know.
It's time for our Cool Boy show topic.
Hey, I like that.
Spoilers.
No sweat.
So cool.
The Night Shift, a fabulous adventure. All right, so we all met back in 2005 for Nolan and I, and 2006 for you, Phil?
Yeah, 6.
Sounds about right.
So you started in August, and you got to experience essentially a whole bunch of douches on your own before some sweet, sweet cool boys started showing up. First cool boy show up, you. Second cool boy show up in November. 2005 was me. Mm-hmm. And Felk, you eventually came in when exactly?
August 2006.
Essentially, we did a lot of pranks. We fucked with each other. So eventually, I guess what occurred is that Felk, you were night shift working for a poker in a butt type of show. And Nolan and I had already moved into day shift, and I was doing some kind of like sort of mixed martial arts show. And Nolan, you were doing a poker in the butt show as well. And so
I think I was doing a blackjack in the butt show.
Oh yeah, you were doing that.
That was later. That was way later.
Oh, okay.
Come on, sexy.
Blackjack we were all days by then. It wasn't until I got finally. Ballard, you got switched to days 6 months into me working with you, so that we only overlapped at nights for 6 months, and then you switched to days and you worked in a hallway for however fucking long you managed to do that.
Hang on, a little sidebar on this. I worked in a hallway surrounded by everybody fucking all day long, walking in and out, bugging me with a 32-inch monitor less than 6 inches from my face. It was torture.
Severe eyeball scarring.
You worked in that hallway?
I worked in that hallway for a few months until I moved into poker in the butt. And then when I moved to poker in the butt, I moved into my own office in the basement. And so that's when we kind of all of our stories.
And then 2 weeks
together.
later, I believe I got switched to days and immediately was put in the hallway for I think like a week and finagled my way into an actual bay by the end of that.
Let me tell you. Remember before Felk moved next to doored us and got sandwiched between us. We had like that amazing female coworker.
Remember that time, Noah, we were talking about like queefs, and she came in so pissed off and slammed the door on us?
Yeah.
You guys need to grow up. Slam the door. Oh, we should not have been talking about queefs so loudly.
I remember one time I talked about Saving Private Ryan being one of the best war films ever, and then saying Thin Red Line was a piece of shit. And she came in and yelled at me and said I was just a fan of the MTV generation and fast cuts, and I didn't appreciate art. And I said, what? Saving Private Ryan is one of the best films ever made.
Yeah, absolutely. We had pranks and shit like that, but I think one of the best pranks we would do, and just to bring this up, we could probably only talk about one story, really.
You guys never really pranked me, did you?
Felk, fuck yeah. Okay.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Felk, we used to put gay porn on your computer all the time.
Oh, that wasn't a prank. That was a gift.
It was a prank when it got recorded onto the episode of Poker in the Butt.
That was just a poorly executed prank.
Yeah, and then comes down and she is totally gonna take the episode because it's done recording, and I'm like, oh shit! I'm like, no, you can't touch it. Something went wrong with the recording. Felk's got to deal with it, and I'm like, she's gonna play it back, and if you played it back, you hear chips all of a sudden. People are playing poker up in the butt, and there's chips and everything, and they're like, they make blinds or whatever, and then all of a sudden you hear put it in my butt, put it in my butt, and like all of a sudden Nolan and I played it back and we heard it on the tape, and it was like, oh my fucking god, this cannot air, and it almost got out there.
That was my first job, like my first actual in an office job. So I had no idea that wasn't how regular office jobs are. The fact that like the shit that that Nolan drew on the whiteboard. Yeah, there was very specifics about who you could and couldn't draw.
Felk, remember the wonderful drawing of you and you were getting penetrated by everybody?
You crossed the line there with the
not me.
Whoever wrote what I was saying.
What did I draw?
Oh, Felk, you have photos of this still, right?
I think I actually took a photo of that one just in case I got in trouble for it.
I loved the
gay
that
was like
party.
a collaborative effort that people kept adding to.
No, but the gay pool party may have been the best, where Nolan had us all in a pool doing something, like everybody.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
That was pretty incredible.
That was like my masterpiece.
So eventually there was an FTP set up with movies, and we were posting shit on it, and they eventually busted Nolan on it, and as a scapegoat to get rid of Nolan.
We were going through the recession, and they were trying to get rid of somebody.
In fact,
this
they got rid of more people
at the perfect time, and It is what it is.
And then Felk, I think you were next to leave. You moved on to another job that was similar. It was a good job for you, and then I eventually left as well, and that was the end of us at the job we both.
Honestly, that was the beginning. It was not the end, because after that, we never really hung out except for at work. But when I left, we started actually going to see movies together, and then that's when I started Call of Duty with Nolan mostly. And I feel like that's when I actually started getting to know you guys outside of the stressful environment.
Good point, Felk. Absolutely. Totally agree with that. All right. So that's the night shift of Fabulous Adventure. Let's move on to Talking Bodies.
All systems ready. 3, 2, 1.
I saw him out walking with his girl.
Talking Bodies. Yeah. Talking Bodies.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I want to talk in some bodies. So when I was growing up and got home from high school, I watched Baywatch.
None of those bodies held up very well.
I beg to differ. So anyways, so Hasselhoff looks fantastic still. So
Pamela Anderson has like 3 hepatitis.
Yeah, she's kind of. I love her. She's CJ for me forever. So anyways,
she's banging someone right now. Who is it? It's like a weird person.
Julian Assange, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God, what's going on there?
I think that's the rumor or whatever. Yeah. All right, well, moving on to the new Baywatch movie trailer. Did you guys watch it?
No.
Yeah, awesome. I did. It's getting hated on, but like I'll see. I think it looks funny. I'm a Rock fan.
Me too. Rock all the way.
I have to admit that I like The Rock.
I honestly gotta say, I don't normally laugh watching trailers, but there was a bit in it when they cut to the fact that Rock saying VO, like, and one of us will die, and it cuts into the fat awkward kid.
Oh yeah.
Like, wait, no, I actually laughed. I thought that was pretty funny. I'm down to see it. I loved Baywatch as a kid. It was part of my formative years. It, many boners at 5 o'clock. So that was wonderful.
I honestly can't get it up for the new Baywatch because I see it as a trend that started with 21 Jump Street, where they're taking properties from the 80s and 90s and doing like self-referential comedy bits based on them, and like the Chips is getting blasted from
wait,
Felk, and I put it in that camp.
Chips? You're not going to go see Chips?
No, I'm not going to go see a movie directed by Dax fucking Shepard. Can't stand that guy.
But speaking of which, 21 Jump Street was good, and the second one was actually funny too. So,
but that's Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and they know how to make movies. And then you hand it to something similar to Dax Shepard or whoever's doing Baywatch.
I'm not sure.
I literally love me some Lord Miller, so you know.
Yeah. Okay. If you had to bang the top 3 chicks from Baywatch, who do you bang in what order?
The new one or the old one?
Nicole Eggert.
Old one.
Nicole Eggert's number 1.
Really?
Wait. In Primo, we're talking Primo.
Yeah, we're talking at their primes.
Yeah.
Okay. Pamela Anderson, not Pamela Anderson Lee. Pamela Anderson. Nicole Eggert.
Anderson Lee is hepatitis positive, so yeah.
Hey, stop mocking her. Pamela Anderson, Nicole Eggert, Yasmin Bleeth.
Yasmin's
There's a fourth one, the flat-chested one that no one remembers the name of.
Top 3, just top 3. That's all we're talking here.
What about
no one's
Erica
gonna put her in the
Liniak?
top 3 anyways.
I mean, if I had 4 or 5, I would say Donna Derrico, and then number 5, I would say Brandy Roderick.
Ooh, Brandy Roderick.
Yeah.
No Erica Liniak?
No way. She doesn't beat any of them. I mean, she's great. She's top 10, but she's not top 5.
Okay. I mean, I think you have to go Pamela number 1. It's just like the ultimate like Baywatch girl.
She's the ultimate, for sure. You can't replace it.
I have to see Nicole Eggert again back in her prime. Oh, you know what was the
all right. So
what's the black girl's name? She was really cute too.
Does Angie Harmon count?
Tracy Bingham.
Yes, yeah, Tracy Bingham. Tracy Bingham's in my top 3, I think.
Yeah, yes, and Felk. No, it's not Angie Harmon. I think it's Angie Everhart. You're thinking.
No, Angie Harmon was on Baywatch Nights.
Oh no, she does not count. So, I would say and then Felk. What do you say is your top 3?
Nicole Eggert's 1. I guess Erica Laniak would be 2, and then Yasmin Bleeth would be 3.
All right, so anyway,
I can't divorce these girls, or I can't like separate them from the horrible lives that they led in the 2000s.
Buzzkill Felk. Oh my God!
Just for Carmen Electra and
no, Felk. It's art. It's art. Okay, you got to separate the artist from the art. Okay.
And Pamela Anderson.
It's why we love Tom Cruise. Anyways, all right. So I'm excited for the movie.
He is 6 feet tall in real life.
So moving on. Felk, did you have anything for Talking Bodies?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. Have you heard the name Angela White?
Maybe.
Man,
she is the best porn star of all time right now. Not if it's gonna. I want to get your opinion on her.
Angela White. Okay.
So she started out with Scoreland or Score.
Oh my God.
My love of what?
Nothing. I didn't realize we're gonna get this in depth. Oh my God, we started.
And she
you went back. You're like, all right. She started off.
She has been around for about 10 years. She started out. I was at Scoreland. She was like one of their big stars. Didn't do hardcore. She started doing hardcore like 4 years ago and dove headfirst into it. She'll
I just want to say what I see I like of her.
She'll do anal. She does everything. But she also does. She's Australian. She has a perfect accent. She knows what she's doing. And yes, so like to me, like that right now is, it took something.
She's almost intimidatingly voluptuous.
Exactly. She took her time. The fact that she was posing nude for 7-8 years before she finally started doing hardcore. And then when she did hardcore, she just really enjoys it. It looks like she's enjoying it. That to me is the best part, because it's like a fucking fine wine.
And Felk has a huge heart on. It's
a fine wine that took its time to ferment.
All right. Anything else, Felk?
It's peaking.
Anything else?
And I want to drink it.
All right. Moving on. Fabulous updates.
All right. Now you tell me.
Fabulous updates. Fabulous.
Well,
With an even harder dick. So cool.
All right. What we've been watching, playing, reading, etc., playing video games. All right. I just want to go over one thing real quick because we got Noli here. Noli, Pumpies.
Oh man, Felk doesn't know about pumpies.
Vanderpump Rules. All right, so what'd you think of the last episode?
Oh fuck.
Oh, the marriage, right?
Yeah, the wedding. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. You know, we're witnessing the marriage of a future divorce, so it's fantastic.
Oh, that's dark.
All right,
fantastic.
Well, before you get into this, can you do me the favor? And I mean, I could look it up on Wikipedia. I kind of already have, but for our listeners who also may or may not exist and may or may not have heard of what pumpies are, what is pumpies?
My wife introduced me to the show. I thought it was just another random, generic, shitty reality show, which it is. But we happened to be living in West Hollywood at the time. The restaurant that they film at was right down the street. I had actually been there a few times before, so I gave it a chance. But it's just a show about people in the bar, and you know, there's hot bodies and a lot of shitty drama. It's just a guilty pleasure.
Cool. It's very cool.
So cool.
Okay, so moving on. Anybody else been watching anything? I mean, I guess I said last week I was going to watch Iron Fist, and I didn't. So, Nola, you been doing anything? What you been doing?
I haven't played a new video game. I'm only playing like Madden right now, sporadically. I got it well after it came out, so it was like on discount bargain bin status, and that's all I'm playing.
Nice. You like it?
Yeah. I plan on when we move out of here to finally go back and revisit Uncharted 4.
Oh, yeah. We should talk about that then when you do that.
Yeah.
Who's your team?
My team?
Yeah, who's your team?
Oh, of course it's the 49ers, the shitty Niners.
Is he capping it? You got you capping it?
No, I don't have him anymore. I actually started my own, I drafted my own QB.
What's his name?
Max Brandt.
Wow. Blonde, blue-eyed?
He was a brown-haired beauty from the 5th round. He was a nice gem hidden in the draft.
Max Brandt sounds like a gay porn star. So, and
Definitely
by the way, there is indeed a real Max Brandt on IMDb. I want to read you some of Max Brandt's IMDb credits real fast. Absolutely fabulous. Max Brandt, his film before that in 1994 was Whore 2. Before that, he was in Romeo and Julia. Before that, he was in Frankenhooker. In 1990.
So cool.
So
all right. So, Felk, I guess you've been watching Iron Fist. So you're 10 episodes in. Why don't you just go over a quick summary of what you feel about these next 8 episodes since you last talked about it?
It is the most forgettable, bland lead actor I've ever seen in a TV show.
That's sad.
Yeah, the guy who's basically known for being the gay guy from Game of Thrones has so much less charisma than he even had on that show, and he's forgettable on that show. He is just, there's nothing to his character and there's nothing to the performance.
That's my problem with the Marvel TV shows is the guys are acting. Charlie Cox he's okay, but
he's Leo DiCaprio compared to this guy though.
He has zero charisma to me. I just don't believe a 5'6" guy is kicking all this ass. Like it just didn't work for me. That's why I couldn't watch that show.
Luke Cage.
Unrelated Tom Cruise reference.
I like Luke Cage. And I like Jessica Jones.
Tom Cruise acts like he's 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
Charlie Cox acts like he's 5'6".
Tom Cruise walks in the room and he becomes the only 10-foot tall man in the room.
Yeah. So the Luke Cage guy looks interesting. Jessica Jones girl I know is a good actress, so I don't have time to watch that. And then Iron Fist, that guy looks like a piece of shit. Like that's like a faggy actor. Like I'm not gonna watch that.
All right, there we go. Okay.
I was trying to wonder if we could say that.
I just did.
Well, that was fabulous updates. Let's move on to yelling at the wall.
You were a fool.
I think you complain just to hear yourself talk.
Yeah, I'll shut you up.
Yelling at the wall.
Haven't you had enough?
Oh, yeah.
Let's check the emails and nothing. And let's check the Twitter feed. And the Twitter feed shows us that hello Twitter, hashtag my first tweet. And just setting up my Twitter, hashtag my first tweet. So
you mean we haven't even been hit with like a spam thing yet?
No, but Felk, it seems to be our only person following us. Or we're following Felk, I think, technically. I don't think Felk's necessarily following us.
I don't have a Twitter. I've never tweeted. I don't even know how that thing works.
Yeah, I don't have a Twitter either. So I think our Cool Boys Twitter account is doing great. So
neither of you have Twitter?
No. I've never had it. I don't have anything on it.
All right. Well, just so everyone let you know again, that's follow us on Twitter at Cool Boys Podcast. And email us at thecoolboyspodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that's thecoolboyspodcast@gmail.com. All right, so that's yelling at the wall. All right, so before we wrap this up, I just want to ask you guys the question I'm going to always ask you guys. Monster Squad or Goonies?
Goonies, hands down.
Felk?
Monster Squad, actually.
I think Nolan's right. Felk, I think you're wrong. Goonies, hands down. All right, well, that was the Cool Boys Podcast, test episode 2. Thank you so much for listening to us. Please remember to follow us again on Twitter at Cool Boys Podcast and email us at thecoolboyspodcast@gmail.com.
You are standing American boy.
You have excelled in all things.
I pump while I dump. Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Oh, yeah. So cool.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Oh, yeah.
This episode of the Cool Boys Podcast was brought to you by
Get some
Cool Boys.
So serious.